So, my soon-to-be husband made the biggest betrayals of my life. He invited my soon-to-be stepmother to our wedding. So you know what I did? I ghosted everybody. My life as an only child has been a roller coaster of pain, tears, self-sabotage, and sometimes laughter. I had it rough while growing up. I've always wanted to be like other children, with a father, a mother, and siblings. It was not the case for me, though, as I've only had my father, but an inactive one. I was born on the 14th of February, 1996. You would agree with me I was born on a special day? I didn't know the 14th of February was a thing, until I started growing up and I saw how people cherish the day. You get to celebrate your loved ones and all that. It was cute when I found out I was named Valentina because of my birth date. My mother was always there to celebrate my birthday with me. She wasn't working because we had my father to provide almost everything. My father had a business and it was doing well. I need to tell you, my father loved my mother so much. It was more or less like he was obsessed with her. I grew up to see my father shower my mother with so much love as if he just met her. I need to tell you that my father never really cared to show his love towards me. Funny, right? He believed his wife was doing so already. I was 6 years old when my mother told me she was carrying my younger sibling. I was excited to be a big sister. My father was also the happiest as I can ever remember. Months passed, my mother's belly started being so obvious. A day does not pass without me saying good morning or good night to the little angel in her belly. I love the idea of having a little creature in our home. The most loving husband that was my father stopped my mom from doing everything, down to her dressing me up. He just wanted his trophy, my mother, to be comfortable. My mom was 8 months pregnant now when my dad had to travel out of state. He really wanted his wife to go with him, so he said. My mom decided against it because she had her little Valentina to take care of. Valentina was coming, which was also my birthday. She wanted to be available for me, and my dad, Ferdinand, had no choice. He traveled. My birthday came, and not in a million years would I thought the most tragic thing would happen. It was a really sunny afternoon. My mom came to pick me up from school so we could start my birthday properly. I had everything I wanted as a baby, present with a few friends from our neighborhood. We ate, we wanted ice cream. Vanilla flavor precisely. We've always had it at home, but it was funny that particular day, because out of everything present, my ice cream was missing. My mom volunteered to go get me some so I could share with my friends. Mom stepped out, and it was the longest I've waited my entire life. My friends' parents started coming in to take their children home as it was already getting late into the night. I was left alone. My mom was absent. My ice cream was absent. I was alone. I was scared nobody was coming. I kept on peeping out, hoping to see my mom, but she wasn't coming. I've just never felt like this, so alone. I've never been so terrified. I slept off while crying, and the reckless slamming of the door woke me up. I saw my father. He was supposed to be gone at least another 2 weeks. What was he doing there? I called for him. Daddy? His eyes were looking dangerous. For someone that doesn't care to look at me, his looks were like daggers, piercing into my small skin. I was about to open my mouth to tell him, but Mommy hasn't come home. My supposed father picked me up from the floor. He held me. He squeezed me like he needed to crack my bones. He told me I killed his wife. Those words had a tough time registering in my head. Killed? Who? Who died? Wife? That's my mom. He continued, Yeah, you killed your mother, you witch. Hot tears ran down my eyes. I couldn't breathe. Where is my mother? She was going to get me ice cream. Where is she? My mom died with our 8-month-old angel. Things took a new turn ever since, and Dad, Ferdinand, does not allow any opportunity to tell me. I killed his wife, passed by him. He became an alcoholic. Our refrigerator was always filled with soda. After my mom's death, it became the first stop for alcohol. I started taking the blame for Mother's death. I didn't understand why I needed ice cream. Nothing made sense to me. I knew I killed her because of my craving. Ferdinand was always happy seeing his wife. The caring husband became the most careless person ever. He dropped money anywhere and never cared if his daughter was okay or not. That became my reality. I started living with the fact that my mother died because of me, and my father became an alcoholic person because of me. I brought tragedy into our sweet family. As a young girl, I was growing up with so much pain and struggle. I longed to see my mother each and every day. I inflicted pain on myself, hoping she'll come to clean my wounds and maybe even stitch my cuts. I wanted to die, hoping I would get to meet the angel I never met. I never saw my mom in my dreams. That made me believe I killed her, and Mom was mad at me after life. Well, she loved me. She would have come to my dreams to say hello, but I killed her. She hates me now. Year in, year out, birthdays stopped being the same for me. I hated the idea of birthdays. Valentine's Day, I hated it. I don't go out with friends to celebrate their day. I get scared I might cause the death of another person. I was 14 when I got introduced to Layla. I was coming back from an after-school music class when I noticed a woman with blonde hair moving her bags in our home. I was confused at first, but I moved closer to her. I greeted her and asked if she made a mistake with the house address. To my surprise, this woman in her late 30s, from her looks, said, "Oh, you're Valentina. I know you." I was mortified. How? How did you know me? Who are you? She told me she was my father's wife and my stepmother, but obviously you'll now call me Mommy, were the words that came out of her mouth. I immediately figured something was not right about her. Her aura, her demeanor, her poise were all screaming devil. I told her, "You're not my mother." I did not bother to wait for a reply when I went in. I believe her words because, knowing my father, he brought her home on purpose. Not long after, I heard my father call out to me. He told me formally to greet Layla. That's when I knew her name was Layla. He said, "She is my wife." Wife? Well, I was incapacitated. He introduced me to a boy of around 5 years old, calling him Jason. He said, "That's my brother." My brother? How? You've had a son all of these years? I couldn't find my balance for minutes. And I just knew I wronged him so much for him to punish me in this way. If my mother was alive, he would not have thought of bringing another mother figure. The 14-year-old me wanted the whole world to crash on me, if that was a tone of my sins. I came back to my senses and I locked myself up. Yet again, another reality hit me. I now have a stepmother, a stepbrother, yet they all look so foreign to me. I had no one I could tell my story to. I relied so much on my ability to please my father because he was the only one I've known since birth. I don't want him to leave me too. I adjusted into the new family tree, did my thing, set out, and came back when necessary. I guess all of that were not sitting well with stepmother. She was only looking for an opportunity to poke me. I allowed her. I tolerated her excess. She had one power on me. I never wanted to give her the chances to use it. I never wanted her to report me to my father. I killed my mother. I need my father to father me from afar like he's always done. Well, years went by, faster yet slowly, and Layla was supposed to be a great stepmother. But she acted as if she was swearing an oath never to be good for me, not even for a minute to talk about my day. Layla? Well, she got me violated. She said I caused my mother's death and I did not deserve to live well. Layla set me up. I cried for days. I couldn't tell anyone. I never had a close friend because I never want to hurt them. My father was the farthest from me. I couldn't tell him what his wife did to me. My stepmom told me if I act smart, she would show me she was smarter. I didn't know what I did so wrong. I could not move away from home. I lived in total fear 24/7. I didn't want my life story to be more complicated. I wanted to be great. But devils sat in my house. Those dreams to be great were plentiful flush down the toilet. My stepmom taught my stepbrother, Jason, to be mean to me. This little devil would throw things at me in public. This little guy would tell people I steal things from his mother. My dad was oblivious to all of these things, or I should say he feigned ignorance. Probably just wanted to torture me. Months after I was violated, I noticed some changing in my body. I thought I was sick. I went to the pharmacy to get medications. I did self-medications and all was well. So I thought. My body system did not get any better. I summoned the courage and I spoke to my stepmother. She immediately told me I was pregnant. I knew she hated me. I thought she probably said I was pregnant to get some reaction from me. Why would I be pregnant? That really was not possible. She read my expression. She realized I wasn't fazed. She repeated herself, "Girl, you are pregnant." I registered the words and I knew I was in trouble. Cold shivers ran down my spine. I was 18. How could I be pregnant? How? Layla said she knew I was up to no good. She said I wanted to bring my father another pain. I didn't allow my father to enjoy his wife, and now I become pregnant. I don't even have a boyfriend. I got pregnant because of what she did to me. She picked up her phone to call my father. I knelt down in front of her with tears in my eyes. I told her, please don't call Dad. I begged her to help me hide it away from Father. My stepmom said there was no way to hide it. Either I live in the house and cut ties with them, or I get rid of the pregnancy. I weighed my options. Moving out doesn't sound like something I wanted to do. I don't even know the father of the baby. I asked her to help me get rid of the baby. Layla said she's always known me to be a murderer. Those words struck me like a rock. I got into college. I was studying physiotherapy. Since I started college, I never bothered to go home like I used to. I was happy I could finally get away from the madness that I call home. We had a field work that required us to form groups. I made a couple of friends from my group, and I got really close to a particular guy. He had a strong North American accent. I found that really hot and attractive. He was very active in the group, making it an easier job to move him for an introduction. I told him, "Hi, I'm Valentina." He said, "Call me Valentine then." We both chuckled, and I knew he was one I could speak with for hours and never get bored. He later told me his real name was Lucas. He was 22, we were age mates. We exchanged contacts and it was us against the world ever since then, like a love tale. Lucas and I both dived into each other's worlds. Although I did not tell him some crucial life ladders I've climbed to get this far, but he knew about how I constantly blame myself for my mother's death, how I hated birthdays. Lucas, my boyfriend, was my comforter. He was picky and calm with his words. He always told me not to blame myself. He said my father will later come to terms with the fact that I did not kill my mom. Universe was simply not being fair. I started to get out of my shell for the first time in my life. I went home to my estranged family to celebrate Thanksgiving. I got home and noticed the atmosphere home was bitter. It wasn't welcoming at all. No one was poking me, everyone was just giving attitude. I prepared food, hoping everyone would come around. Suddenly, my dad stumbled into the living room. He kept on saying, "It was your fault. You're evil. It was your fault. You're evil." I was confused as to what was going on, just for Layla to come out too. She stood in front of my dad and called him a serial cheater. She told my father to shut up and stop acting like a saint. Nothing prepared me for the revelation that befell me. Layla said my father cheated on my mother with her, and now he wants to cheat on her with someone else. She said she'll never allow such. Your wife died the day she found out you've been cheating on her. I almost fell to the floor. I went dumb temporarily. My father told her to keep quiet and not open the healing wound. Ferdinand said, "Why you did not meet with her on your daughter's birthday?" Why did you tell her I was seeing you? You killed my wife on my daughter's birthday, you evil woman. I didn't know how to act. I picked the bag and I stumbled out of the house, barely holding myself together. I vowed never to come back to this house. My father was also acting all loving and caring to my mother. He was cheating all those times, huh? I went to my boyfriend, Lucas. I explained everything while crying profusely. I told him how I got violated, got pregnant, and got rid of the pregnancy through this woman, Layla. She ruined my family with the help of my father. She killed my mom, and she was hell-bent on ruining me too. I cried my eyes out. For all the years of pain I endured, for all the times I harmed myself, for carrying the guilt of my mother's death around, for thinking I took my father's joy away from him. Lucas comforted me. I mourned for days, weeks, months, till I finally found my strength. I moved on with my life together with Lucas. We were cute together, and I knew he was going to be my household forever. I avoided anything that had to do with my father and stepmom. I got a job that was paying well. Lucas was doing well too, and finally I knew it was coming. Lucas proposed. There's never been an easier yes than when I said to Lucas that day he proposed. Well, we started our wedding planning. I told him I want an elaborate yet simple wedding to honor my late mother. It's been years without Elizabeth Wills, and I missed her every single day. My mother would have wanted a big wedding too, so I'm doing this for her. I told Lucas that I would love to excuse my family from the wedding. He said it was fine by him. He further went on to tell me why I need to forgive them. I told him I forgave them already, but they should be excused. We got a lot of things for our wedding, and we got some other things on credit, which we planned to pay for after the wedding. Wedding bells rang. I was the happiest. I knew my mother was happy for me too. We were about to take our wedding vows when I saw a familiar face walk into that auditorium. I was taken aback. Fear, hatred, pain, tears. It all covered me. Why is she there? Why is Layla there? Lucas said he invited her, but he never expected her to come in during the wedding. He said he wanted us to have a talk with her. I told my husband to go to heck as I walked out of that auditorium. He betrayed me. He disrespected my feelings, and I had to block him. I knew everyone was the same. I disappeared, ghosted everyone, out of everyone's reach. Well, I guess you can say marriage was never for me. What if Lucas later cheated? What if I got killed over infidelity too? I ran away. I swore to erase them all from my memory. Well, I'm on that journey now. I'm healing. I knew I meant everything to Lucas, but they do all not just deserve me. So I can say, I think the best part of this entire story was when OP decided, you know what? If everyone wants to be this toxic, I have to go through all of this. I'll just ghost all of you, cut contact, and never see you again. How do you like that? So I have one question from you guys. Do you think this was the right course of action, or was this move rather drastic? Drop your thoughts down below in the comment section. That's the only story on the day. I hope you enjoyed today's content. You guys know what to do if you did. If you're not subscribed already, you risk the opportunity of missing out on all these updates. So smash that subscribe button, guys. Have a fantastic day, and remember, it's cool to be kind.